but yeah, and I think that was the same exact reasoning for sending the uncut video of Dax and I's larger discussion. You know, that was a piece of it. So when I handed you that, it's kind of this, you know, similar things, right? Where you were like,
right. So
we were talking about my home, I think is what Dax and I started talking.
Right. So then I got the uncut version of the podcast over Letters to My White Male Friends, which is an amazing book. And I think my first comment was something like, "Oh my God, Joey, you are simply the embodiment of white male everything.
Privilege."
Yeah. I was like, and you said, "How so?" And I said, just your mannerisms. It was a lot of your mannerisms, uncomfortable laughs,
right.
laughing in the wrong places.
Yeah.
And not that this is, I think that I would say the point of this discussion is just one, specifically for folks to understand that we can have a discussion.
Right.
And then also, I just think if any problem exists, I would consider myself a problem solver, and I think you would too. So we're not really here to criticize the critics. We're here more to look for solutions or a path towards that. And so, so I think I pointed those things out, and then you said it's really long, so don't try to just sit there. And so I thought I was just going to kind of listen to it. And then at the end of the night, I think I ended up with a notepad and a pen and a highlighter. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So I think that's where this whole discussion started, and it has evolved.
It has. And I think that what I learned from a lot of your critiques, specifically around my inappropriate timing with laughter, is that I laugh when I'm talking about or analyzing something that's completely absurd. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the content within Dax's book was sadly a shock for me. Mm-hmm. I should have known more. And then he asked me specifically what made you start to focus on this over the last couple of years? And you know, you're 54 years old. Like, why now? And I explained to him that I've been a stay-at-home dad for the last 4 years. And in that process, writing my book and helping raise my children, I had all this extra time. And so I wasn't reading business books all the time anymore. I was reading books like James Baldwin and Ta-Nehisi Coates and old pieces of Medgar Evers and MLK. And I was just trying to understand more of what was going on, specific to these very topical conversations in our culture today around critical race theory and racism and systemic racism. Is it here and why is it here? And those pieces. And so I said, well, to be perfectly candid, Dax, the reason that I didn't focus on this is because I was focused on one thing my whole life, and that was me. And I didn't care about anybody else. And it was, what can I do to make money? And then what can I do to put more money in the bank? And then what can I do to, you know, focus on me and take